We should probably introduce ourselves. My name is Gretchen Dubacker.
Matt Killen.
And I'm Kevin Mullan. This is the 419. Actually, so I have a completely unrelated question for you guys.
All right.
I thought about this last night, and I'm like, I want to ask Matt and Gretchen, because this, like, am I this uniquely off kilter, or is this a common thing? Do you guys do click list?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is this shopping?
Yeah, like Kroger goes and they pick the groceries for you.
Our house does it. We do it. But I've never done it.
Okay, but your house does it.
Yes.
All right, so this will still qualify. I'm curious if you click list, because we all live pretty close to each other.
That's right.
Do you click list from the Kroger on Monroe,
You don't
or from
pick
the
it.
Kroger on Bancroft?
Oh, I get it delivered.
So do we.
So I don't know which one they go to.
Oh, you guys are fancy. I'm the delivery guy.
Oh, if I were going to do it, I would go to the one
On
off
Bancroft.
Bancroft. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, me too. And
Because the one on Monroe doesn't have everything that I want. Because
Yeah.
And it's Armageddon.
sucks. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Right. All right. So we do the same
Yeah,
thing, and it
100%.
it fascinates me. Like, I'm not going in, so why do I care?
One of the debates in my house is that what rate of accuracy will swing us into not wanting to do it anymore.
Yeah.
My rate is 10%. As long as it's like food for food item, I don't care at all.
The only hard thing to order on that is fruits and vegetables,
Yeah.
because they want you to do it by the weight. And so if you want like one green pepper, you're like, well, is that 12 pounds? I think it's about 12 pounds.
But if you put in but if you try to play that game right, and you say and you do it by the pounds, and you're like, I want 3 pounds of bananas, right? Like, they're going to give you 3 bananas. It's whatever we choose, they do the other. They do
this
the
is
other.
Good. This is going to sort of call out our shopping. We don't deal with the produce a lot. Ours is, these aren't the right kind of Pop-Tarts.
They sent me the wrong Cool Ranch Doritos.
That's right.
Oh,
this
my
is 3 pounds of the wrong
No, the
frosted.
delivery is just,
Yeah.
it's beyond.
I love it.
I don't like to get exposed to COVID still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Let me tell you something, guys. As the leader of COVID in Northwest Ohio,
Yes.
I just took out the last variant for a spin. Not so bad. Not so bad.
Yeah.
how many times have you had it?
3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
First time was the worst. Second time, the weirdest side effects. I had like straight up insomnia. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I've had insomnia before because you can't sleep well. There's a vast difference between, it's like food poisoning and have a bellyache. These are different things.
Should I introduce our guest?
Let's do it. Let's get some hints.
This week is you, Kevin.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about the guest this
So are we.
week. So when we first talked about this concept that only one of us knows who the guest is and brings them
That's
on, I was talking to my wife, and I told her, this is really hard, right? Because in an entire year of podcasts, I only get to pick 4 guests. And so that filters the list.
Right.
Without hesitation, this was the first person.
This is
I
your
thrown
number
out.
one. This is the top of the list.
This is top of
All
my
right.
list.
How
I told
about
my
it?
wife, I was like, I think they would be a phenomenal podcast guest.
How much are you paying them?
A lot.
Yeah.
Now, before we go further, I also want to know: are we supposed to guess?
Yeah.
Are we going to try to
That's
guess?
right.
Yeah, I think this actually is going to be fun because.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll get there. All right, so let's do this. So here's why I wanted to bring this person on.
Okay.
So I love their passion for improving our community. Right.
Okay.
It is everybody that knows this person can see it. An incredible commitment to leadership development. So I'm starting to drop some hints here.
Okay.
And amidst all of those, all of the glowing qualities that you'll learn about this person over the next hour, somehow they're a very good friend of mine.
That calls
This is
their
a real
judgment into
mystery.
question.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the direct hints. Here we go. So a lifelong Toledoan.
Lifelong Toledoan.
This person also lives in Old Orchard.
Okay.
This person has earned a special place in heaven as they served as a middle school teacher
Good Lord.
for a decade.
This is
In dog years, that's
this is a
long
drinker.
time.
This is a heavy drinker.
I'm not going to speak about the alcohol consumption, but this person is a bibliophile.
Okay.
We're so dumb we don't even know what that is.
At one point in 1 year, this person read almost 24,000 pages.
Good Lord.
65 books in 1 year. I couldn't list off Like I couldn't go to the library and read the titles of 65 books.
Sure.
When do they binge
We've got to
watch
get this
shows on
person.
TV?
We've got to get this person out of here.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll tell you what. Everything you've just said is not anyone would spend any time with me. So
you actually, both of you have met this person.
Okay.
But I don't think you know them very well.
okay. Well, congratulations to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So they
This is a win.
They
Yeah.
frequent local coffee shops.
That's right.
So there's a good chance that you've sat.
I'm
next
ready
to
for this,
person.
dude.
They're too busy reading, probably, to meet us.
She
Oh.
Okay. A hint. Another one.
has her finger on the pulse of the future of our community because of her work with youth leaders in Toledo.
I think I've got this.
I don't think you do.
Youth Leadership Toledo, someone?
Just bring this person out here.
Come on out. Come on out. Nicole Susdorf.
Hi, Nicole.
Nicole, we have met before, and we have talked about this book problem you have. Or at least I'm aware of this book reading, I think.
It's a big problem.
Yes.
Welcome.
So many books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 65 books in a year.
I like that you pulled up my Goodreads stats from last
Oh
year.
yeah, nailed it. Yeah. So explain this to me
Yeah,
because
the
you
whole
actually
boat.
track. You actually track
Yeah.
books and pages, and you have a serious problem. And this is not a podcast. This is an intervention.
Oh,
That's right.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad for
Yeah.
that.
Do you
I mean,
read one entire book at a time,
Heck
or
no.
you constantly
I've got
You're in
like,
several at one time.
So currently, I have an audiobook going.
Okay.
And I have
Wait a minute. There's something other than
and I have two
yeah.
two books on my Kindle.
Yeah. That's how stupid she
And-
thinks. It's like two, you chimps. No, like come on.
He mentioned I spend time in the classroom, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
And I have one physical hardback book
Okay.
that I'm currently reading. So I've got 4 books simultaneously.
Let's start at the very beginning. You are a lifelong Toledoan?
I am.
Okay. Tell me where
Yeah.
you were hung out in your youth. Where
my
what
gosh.
neighborhood was yours at
Well,
birth?
so first of all, I'm from the East Side.
Okay.
So,
Where about?
I lived in Birmingham. That's
Sure.
where I grew up.
Yeah, yeah.
Birmingham, very close to 3 blocks from Holy Rosary.
Yeah.
Which is where I went to grade school.
That's a church, just to let you know. Thank you. Yep, Gretchen.
So I went to Holy Rosary and then
Okay.
ventured across the river to go
Sure.
to Central for high school.
I too went to Central.
Go Irish.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Where'd you go to high school?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Go Eagles.
Yes.
I'm a fan of everybody now these days. I even married a guy from St. Francis. So
Okay.
that's
All
that
right.
would have been a problem for me back in the day.
Sure.
But no.
What year did you graduate?
2004.
Okay, got it.
2004.
Don't worry, these questions get easier.
I was going to say, what year did I graduate high school? A minute ago.
Sure.
Yeah, so
How dare you?
I think I might be the youngest at the table. If I'm,
Yeah.
if I'm
Yeah, well, you can
guessing.
stop thinking it.
That's a good wager.
Yeah.
That was pretty obvious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you want to know where I was in high school, it was at any single thing that Central had to offer. I
Sure.
was like all in on high school and all in
Loved
on
it.
football games and
All right.
theater and musical theater and did all that stuff. in
Musical
high school.
theater for you as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Favorite musical theater experience?
Oh, I saw like a year and a half ago. I went
But
to.
you performed. You were in one of these.
No,
What-
no. Sorry, I did stage crew.
Okay,
I was
gotcha.
not on stage. I did
Okay.
stage crew, which was awesome, and I even did that in college too.
All right.
A year and a half ago, I got to see Sutton Foster and Hugh Jackman on Broadway
Oh,
Okay.
how
in
cool.
Music Man, and that was maybe my favorite theater experience.
What
of all
about you,
time.
lady?
Original cast of Hamilton on Broadway.
Fancy! Look at you.
That was a experience.
I
It was
bet
awesome.
it was.
Yeah.
That's
Well, it's
so
not your
cool.
show, so back to our guest. So, a middle school teacher?
So when I came back from college, I went to Dayton for
Yeah, right.
undergrad.
A Flyer?
Go Flyers. And I came back and I went back into the schools where
Okay.
I grew up in.
So,
I-
back to Birmingham, Garfield area?
Oh, no, sorry. I went back to the Catholic schools.
Okay.
So I taught primarily middle school. Well, when you're a middle school teacher in a Catholic school, you teach about all the things
Right.
that there are
Sure.
to be taught,
Yeah.
but mostly 7th grade and always language arts.
Okay.
Sometimes social studies or health. One unfortunate year I had to teach health, which was
Yeah.
nobody's favorite thing to do.
Sure.
Especially in middle school.
Especially not
Especially
especially
middle school.
in middle
Yeah.
school. You get to have some fun conversations.
That's when
bet.
they
in
do
middle school health class.
That's when they do sex education, like 6th and 7th grade. They separate the boys and the girls. And
Sure
they,
do.
I love that
Teach
you
how the
explained that to her.
body-
Yeah.
well,
right.
You got
She
to know
didn't
how the
know that.
body works,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
important. That
Although
we
we've
learn that.
stopped
but you can't know
being
how the
concerned.
opposing genders' bodies work.
No,
just your own.
only your own.
Yeah, you're supposed
And
to guess
hopefully
about the
you
other
got
one.
all the you get all the details on the playground.
I remember I was sick the day that we spread out. It was just one day. and I
Certainly.
came back, and everyone seemed to be like on edge. And I was like, what the heck? What's going on?
What
and a friend of mine said, "Don't touch them. They
Yeah.
all are either pregnant or bleeding." And I was like, this might have been a very
That was a big day. You did that.
no kidding. I was like, how long was this film?
I think they chose
And the
that
film
day.
they showed was Hugh Jackman was also in it. Yeah, he's so
Wolverine.
talented. Yeah,
He is
yeah,
so
man, he can bring anything home.
The reenactments in that one were really
Wild.
So, a
Just
person
wild.
of faith, churches in your life, your
Correct.
family. Okay,
Yes. So we are Catholic.
Gotcha.
We belong to St. Pius X in
All
West
right.
Toledo.
Yeah.
We are really very involved there.
Cool.
And we're very involved in our faith. We also, my husband and I like to give him some credit, even though I do most of the work. My husband and I also run the Toledo Yes Project,
What's
which is
that?
a summer service project for
Okay.
high schoolers, and we take kids. We take kids around town and we paint houses and
Okay.
we work
Oh,
at
how cool.
nonprofits and we do really cool. It's like a 3.5 day service.
is this
project.
a program that you started or that you've kept going?
So that we've kept going.
Okay.
So it started in the 80s. It was a diocesan program,
Mm-hmm.
and then
The 80s is when Gretchen was in high school.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Don't be
Not late.
dramatic.
I'm not going to touch that, so I'm going to
Yeah,
keep
sure.
moving.
Yeah,
and,
right.
moving on.
That's right. That's
moving on.
what he would have wanted.
Yeah, and so in the early 2000s, the diocese decided they didn't want to run that program anymore,
Okay.
and so
Because everything was fixed.
Yeah.
done and done.
There were
Check
other
that
things
box.
were going on too, and
Sure.
they needed to move stuff around,
Got
and
it.
so it became an independent nonprofit
Okay.
at that time. And so we've been involved since about that time.
Okay.
And
How'd you find each other? I mean,
Oh
you
my gosh!
Yeah, we have
Okay,
got
now
the
we're
time.
gonna
Yeah, let's
now
do
we're
it.
just gonna talk about my faith life. I think
Yeah. Yes.
is where we're headed with this. So we met high school
Aw.
youth group.
Yeah, sure.
He was
Pre-video or post?
well post.
Okay.
But no.
Yeah.
So he went to St. Francis, and Father
Right.
O at the time would get the boys to come and work at Christ the King and be like maintenance people, you
Sure.
know, like help clean and stuff. And so he was doing that, and I was in the youth group because that's also what I did in high school.
Sure.
And Father Dave Ritchie, who was the associate pastor at the time, was like, "I'm going to take you guys to this concert." And my friend and I were like, "Yeah, we're in. Let's go." And then he was like, "I'm also bringing this other guy, Kurt." And we were like, "What? Why?"
Yeah, sure.
He doesn't like youth group kids. He's like not into this. Like what?
Yeah.
Like whatever. And so Father Dave brought him.
Okay.
And suddenly
Kurt
we
with
were-
a C or K?
with a K.
Okay.
The island of Kurtz, as he likes to call it, with K. And so he came with us to this random Christian concert
Sure.
in the middle of a cornfield.
Yeah.
You know,
Aren't they all there in the
they
middle?
are
Yeah,
all.
okay, that's
Yes,
what I
at
thought.
least in the
Yeah.
early 2000s, that's where they
Sure.
held them.
Yeah, they haven't changed. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And so that's where we met, and then we were just friends through
Mm-hmm.
like the end of high school and through college. And I went to college with my best friend Craig, and we were walking at UD. We were just like taking a walk down Kefauver Street, and he was like, "I think you and Kurt like each other." And I was like, "What?" No,
Yeah.
you know? And he's like, "No, I think you guys like each other."
Yeah.
And so we went to visit him. He went to Michigan. We went to visit him in Ann Arbor. And then we kissed the first time, like
Oh my
the next
goodness,
week.
yeah.
And so it was like Craig who put this little seed.
Yeah.
Like he clearly could see that we liked each
Sure.
other, and we just were
Right.
being oblivious. And so we dated through the end of college, and then came home together, and
Yeah.
then got married. You know, got married,
That's
had
awesome.
kids, the whole 9 yards.
What a completely unrelatable story.
I know.
Now, you have met men in the middle of fields before, though, Gretchen. Yeah.
The story starts the same, but it ends very, very differently.
Well, we were all doing
First of all, I didn't
cornfields
know
in
any
high
of their
school.
names. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, so I was going to say, part of the reason why I wanted Nicole to come on is because of the work she does, and it's the Yes Project is a part of it, but also the work she does with Youth Leadership Toledo. Like, I'm very interested in what our community looks like
Sure.
10, 20, 30, 50 years from now. And I have thoughts, but Nicole sees it, right? She gets to work with kids and gets to see, got a chance to see kids in a middle school classroom, which that may or may not shape how you feel about our future. But you also get to see kids do things they've never done before with the Yes Project. And then you get to see kids and hear from kids through Yippee and YLT, and I want you to talk about those a little bit. But hear what's working and what isn't.
And also the transition from teaching to this.
Oh, yeah.
Like what, both things. Bring us through the move to this, and then to Kevin's point, what the future looks like and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, what would I be doing in 10 years? I would have said I'd been a school principal. Like I was in
Okay.
on schools, totally in. And I went back to school and got my master's degree in educational leadership, like whole 9 yards. I was ready to keep going with that. And then I had my Levi. And the year I had Levi was my 10th year teaching, and
Okay.
he came unexpectedly early,
Okay.
and there was some, not major complications, but some complications with
to
that.
change things. Yeah, I
Enough to
get it.
like change how I thought about things. And this may surprise you, but I was an overachiever as a teacher and was like the kind of person who just like did all the things and really wanted the kids to have this great experience. And so I really had a hard time the rest of that year when I came back from leave of like balancing
Sure.
being the teacher I had always been and wanted to be, and like the mom that I felt called to be. So that was all playing out. And my pal Bryce, Bryce Roberts, who used to be
Never heard of
Leadership Toledo. Yeah, I know.
Miserable best.
If
We
if
can
you
cut that out,
ask
No, it's
nicely, I'll show
staying in.
you a picture of Bryce and I from high school.
Oh
We've
my
also been
God,
friends
you should
since
have
high
brought
school.
it.
Yeah.
It's on my phone, I
Okay,
promise.
all right.
I'm guessing her hair got longer and his hair got shorter.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll take that bet.
That's a pretty fair.
I'll take that bet.
So Bryce was at Leadership Toledo at the time, and he was like, "Hey, we're hiring a youth program director, and I think you'd be pretty perfect at it."
Mm-hmm.
And he had actually suggested it to me the year prior, when I was like pregnant, and I was like, I'm not doing a switch.
Sure.
I'm pregnant. Like
Or
I just
anything.
I'm not doing
Yeah,
anything.
stop
I'm
talking to me.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
go away.
I get it.
And so the position opened again, and he's like, "No, seriously, you need to apply for this job. You'd be really perfect for it." And I was like, "Okay." And I really hadn't been considering leaving the education space. I hadn't been considering leaving a school, and I like looked more into it, and obviously I'd known like his experiences with it because we were friends. And so I interviewed, and it was like mid-August, and like that Catholic guilt was real strong for me about like quitting my classroom mid-August to go to Leadership Toledo. But man, am I glad that I did.
Like Kevin said, talk to us like we've never heard Leadership Toledo before. Tell me what not just the mission statement, but what it means to you, and from a listener, what this is all about.
Yeah, so the thing that I love the most about Leadership Toledo, and there's a lot of cool stuff to love about LT, but the thing I love the most is that it opens folks' eyes to like things going on in the community. I really know the Catholic world very, very, very well. I
Okay.
know the key players. I know what's happening. I know the trends. I know the historical, all that stuff, especially like Catholic education.
Okay.
And and being at LT has opened my eyes to like all the really cool things happening in our public school systems, in other schools around our area in the suburbs, all these things that are going on. I had no earthly idea. And we do that that's been a benefit to me as a staff member, but for all of our program participants, the thing that we do is we take folks, like, you may really know the metro parks really, really, really well, but maybe you don't.
I do not. So
But maybe you don't know so much about what's happening, in the criminal justice system
Certainly.
in Toledo.
Right.
And so we take our program participants, whether they're adult or they're youth, and we show them the wide array of things that Toledo has to offer.
What's the age group for Youth Leadership Toledo?
So our YLT students are sophomores in high school.
Okay.
Okay.
And our YIPPY students, which is a philanthropy program
Sure.
that we have for juniors and seniors, that's for juniors and seniors, for upperclassmen in high school. So we mostly work with sophomores through seniors in our core program.
it's interesting.
Did you guys, Matt, did you or Gretchen, did you guys go through Leadership Toledo?
I did not. For some reason, it was the institution that I work for during the day specifically grabs upcoming leaders in our institution.
And you're definitely not that.
He's on the downward.
In all fairness, that is how we view it. And I've asked multiple times,
Yeah.
like, well, I'd be really interested in this because
Yeah.
I think it's of real value. First of all, to your point about there are vast amount of things that are happening that not only affect our community, but our job specifically that we may be unaware of, right?
Exactly.
But we do grab sort of younger up and comers, and so I missed that boat. But I was always envious.
Yeah. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, well, you're just saying that because you want us to
She
kind of
is.
on the
She
show.
is just
Okay,
saying
easy,
that.
Gretchen.
Yeah.
Just out in the woods with a bunch of random dudes with Gretchen.
Cornfield.
Yeah.
Cornfield.
Can I ask, and I think I might have stepped on your question, Kevin, but forgive me. In terms of, I don't want to say pillars, but when you think about a community, you talked about the criminal justice system, we've talked about faith. Are there a short number or a few things when you think about things that we need to solve for. And again, I realize this is potentially an unfair question, but when I think about it, I think of 3 or 4 things that are the number one priorities that are real issues. Do you have a similar thing? Is that when you're at home reading your 95 books and we're watching, Who's Selling Delta?
The Office.
Or you're watching,
Jesus
rewatching
Christ.
Miami Vice.
Yeah, okay. Just focus on my
Do you
question.
watch Miami Vice?
No.
He just watched it last
Back
night.
to the show. Our guest is here. I do, and everyone should. It's
Okay.
like a book, only without nouns.
Words?
Yes.
For people who can't
Or
read.
purpose. Yeah. If you like chest hair and neon, and who doesn't?
Well, who
does?
This is the book for
Especially
you.
together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all just mashed into one another. I'm sorry. These other 2 are
Yeah.
just they're getting it together. No Hugh Jackmans, can tell you that. But the pillars, the issues, right into here. That's it. There you go.
Here we go. There we go.
What are the things that, and it can be specifically, what are we looking to tackle? What are the things that keep you up at night?
So I think first and foremost for me is what are we doing for our youth? Like how are we making sure all of the students, all of the young people in our community feel welcomed and appreciated and given opportunity? I think that can be not evenly divided. Certainly not true just in our city, but in all cities, not evenly divided. And so I think first and foremost have to be our youth. We have a saying at LT that our youth are our leaders today, not our leaders in some point in the future.
Sure.
And if we're not putting capital and investment behind them, like we're just screwing ourselves over.
And Gretchen, you asked a question about youth, but when you think of youth, does that age align perfectly with LT, or is it, or when you're like 8, 9, 10, where is the sweet spot for making a difference?
Yeah, so we know that, first of all, universal pre-K and early education efforts are paramount.
Certainly.
We know that if kids don't learn how to read, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, and that we know all these outcomes that come from kids not knowing how to read, right? And so I think the early spaces is where we really need to focus, so we're building them up. But at the same time, we cannot forget about our sophomores in high school who are just like barely getting through the day, you know? And for those kids, for the older kids especially, I think the concerns around mental health resources and awareness and things that they have access to. We are a resource-rich community that has a lot of people who care deeply about kids in our community, but I don't know that the kids know that all the time.
Interesting. That's well said.
And so I think finding ways to make sure these kids know the resources that are available and making them available to the kids.
I'd be interested in the same question to the 2 of you. Both of you are civically oriented, right? And again, are there a couple things, and you could probably list all day, but specifically, if you could pick 2 things to solve for tomorrow, what would they be?
So
Just answer the gut, one of the 2.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. So we had
what it's like working with.
I know, trouble.
We had a
He's
speaker
my
at
neighbor.
Toledo Rotary a couple of months ago talk about grit and how important grit is in developing grit in kids, and
just getting after it.
just
duct tape and
like
gum.
nothing will deter you. Like it's just this like just tenacity, right? And it was interesting. I was talking with my brother, who's a teacher, and said like, "Hey, I think you should come to this presentation. It's going to be great. It's about grit and how important it is to develop grit in youth." And he said, and it just like was a like major gut punch, that he goes, "Kids don't need grit. Kids need hope."
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. No, you weren't.
Yes, I was going to say the sort of the other side
No, she
of
wasn't.
having that determination is this whole age group of kids that are hopeless, that we're never going to get off their block,
That's sort of your point.
Yeah.
too.
that are
Yeah.
never going. Those are the kids I represent, right? That are charged with murder,
Yeah.
and robbery and stealing cars, and have dropped out of high school, and so it's a hopelessness, and there's all kinds of groups that are working across the country where you take our city, for example. If I'm a kid on the east side that's hopeless and is getting charged with criminal things and involved in a gang, all I have to do is move them to South Toledo and their entire life could change.
Yeah.
Because they're not around people. I mean, that's the smallest little geographic space that you need to do. So it's just seeing that there's a future
Yeah.
And I think that that's what the Kid Mayor does at the city of Toledo, that Youth Toledo does, that all these groups that involve kids and have young people involved in things, you can see that you can make a future for yourself in Toledo.
Certainly.
But it's access to those things.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, Matt, so what's your answer to that?
You know, I certainly agree with everything you just said, but we have to feed our children.
Certainly.
You know, I know that seems like a very elementary thing to make mention of, but I don't know how successful any program can be. And I mentioned that in my own day job as well. Like, we could build the best playgrounds on the goddamn
could, but
planet.
if those kids are hungry,
That's exactly right. What difference does it make?
Doesn't.
So I guess I think about things like that. And again, what I'm about to say will be a gross generalization of really sophisticated problems. But food in homes, you know, the homelessness and the housing stock in Toledo is a lot more challenged than I was aware of even a year ago. And I consider myself, you know, relatively knowledgeable about our little burg's challenges. But I would say food and housing, and then the layer of things that we just articulated. You know, not that by any means do I not totally agree with you, but Christ almighty, my eyes have been opened a tremendous amount.
Well, when we talk about affordable housing stock, right? Like so many of the apartment buildings and things that are opening currently are not accessible to most people.
Right.
They really aren't. And I think if we look at the median income of Toledo, it's not nearly going to cover the rent at in these buildings.
But your program though, and go ahead, Kev.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but your program though specifically sort of grabs a hold of kids, not just during their upbringing, but for me at least, a pretty challenging part of your life, right? High school, everything about you feels weird, and everything is going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the direction giving, and then what graduation looks like.
Yeah. So a lot of the students who come our way, well, all of them actually have been identified by their schools. We work with over 30 schools.
Oh, wow.
For our programming. And so they're identified by their schools as either kids who could use some intensive, you know, people caring about them and feeding into them. And there are certainly kids who are already like doing pretty all right. And so what I like a lot about our program is that we take these kids, they're from over 30 area schools. We have kids in raising cows and you know, that sort of stuff. And we have kids who live in North Toledo, and they're all in the same cohort together. Right. And so we're breaking down some of those stereotypes around what it means to be a kid from that school over there.
What a rural kid is like as opposed to a city kid.
Correct.
Interesting.
And so I think, and so that leads to some really interesting conversations.
I bet.
And we have to be mindful then that all those kids who are coming from all these various backgrounds feel welcomed and loved in our program. That's really paramount to me, that they feel that way, because if they get the skills and the community connections and all that, that's great. But mostly I want these kids to feel like they're cared for.
How long have you been working there now? Since 2000?
Since 2019.
2019. And did the kids keep in contact with one another after?
Yeah. So what's so fun about it is I'll run into a kid at Monette's, for instance. I'll go into Monette's to get my watermelon, and there's
not these two lazy asses. They have to have it delivered.
They have it delivered. That's what I heard. You know, the trick for Clicklist is to tell them 3 bananas. Like, write in the comments,
we
3
just talked
bananas.
About that.
You have to tell them the exact quantity. That's the Clicklist trick. But no, I'll walk into Monette's and I'll run into a student of ours, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, let's take a selfie," and I'm gonna text it to these people. And that's great. Makes me so happy because that means they've built the community between themselves.
Right. And they're proud of you.
Yeah. And they want to acknowledge that they've seen me. So that's also,
right. Absolutely.
You know, I'm not a person that they're like dislike. Totally. So that's important too.
Like Matt.
That's right. I don't even have a camera on my phone. It's just duct tape. Yeah.
Selfie is not a available option. On
I just have a pad of paper. I draw real fast.
Yeah.
I like your case though. It's so fun.
That's right. It's
she
sponsored by the Epilepsy Center.
Fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. I like it. I was trying to think of the most appropriate word, and I was going to say sparkly. Yeah. Which it also
I'm loving sparkly.
I love that this is somebody who last year consumed thousands
That's
of
why that
pages
book
of
reading
books.
thing is total bullshit.
And then she couldn't come up with a word to describe.
And no
Sometimes
vocabulary.
I'm trying to think of the right word to use in the
Without
right
being
context.
offensive, is that what?
Yeah.
I know all the words, but I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah.
A grown man with a sparkly
Yeah.
cell phone case.
I mean, I love it though.
Thank you.
I want a sparkly case.
So in the
pretty
two
plain.
stories that you told about meeting your eventual husband and
Yes.
about this job, neither instance, it seems to me, you were aware of the decision that was in front of you or what you were experiencing. And so you had these.
Yeah.
Do you find that interesting, or have you ever thought about that before?
Well, I am now.
Okay,
I'm gonna
well-
go home. I know what I'm thinking about
Why are you
tonight
weeping?
is why. Okay, I didn't know I was going to
Are those
therapy
tears?
today, but okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good combo. No, I think that's interesting. I think one of the things I tell our students a lot, and I think is really true even as adults and going through life, is to make sure you've got the right people around you.
Yeah.
It sounds
The
like you do.
people who are cheering for you. Thank you for saying that. The people who are cheering for you, who are, if they're talking about you when you're not in the room,
Sure.
they're saying the good things.
That's right.
And you want those people around you because they'll see things that you don't. And
Right.
hopefully we can be those people for other folks, and we can rely on the people around us to do that for us too. So I think a lot of that's around building a good community and making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right
Sure.
people.
Well, I think you reap what you sow, right? So you're clearly a positive person despite this forward addition to book reading. Your words, Gretchen.
To be clear, I don't watch any TV. So to answer that part of it, I
No, that
very
was clear.
rarely watch TV. Because I don't,
That was very clear.
but I wouldn't sleep, really.
Do
Yeah.
you, when a book is made into a movie, which is when I find out it was a book,
Yeah. I think when most people find out it was
do you go see the movie?
not usually.
What?
No,
All
I'm
right.
uninterested. My husband loves movies.
I love that this young woman is changing youth lives, and we're like,
And you're like,
we're just
"Stop
trying to
reading."
get her to watch TV.
I want to ask a question about books, but
Yeah.
it's the like. You
What's the
have-
movie version?
You have to answer this.
Oh.
You
I
cannot.
have?
You
Good
cannot dodge it.
Gee, well,
Right?
what's he going to ask me?
So
turn it
I'm
closer.
I'm not going to ask the best book you've ever read.
All right.
I want to know what's the worst book
yeah, I'm
you've
down
ever
for that.
read.
Ooh. So in college, give me a second to think of the name of it.
We won't have heard of it.
You can make it up.
Oh no, Joseph Conrad, Diamond something. Hold on. There's a book that he wrote, and I had to read it in like 2 separate classes. And I'm like, do any of Heart of Darkness? Heart of Darkness is the
Okay.
name of the book, and
It's
that
about my
is-
wife.
Oh wow!
Stop. That is rude.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, honey. Yeah. She's our next guest. Come on in.
No, so it's called The Heart of Darkness, and I had to read it in 2 separate classes, and I hated it both freaking times.
You read it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
because
tell you
I'm an
something. I wouldn't have read it
Listen,
once. Yeah, go ahead.
listen,
I would have
listen.
enrolled for a
Do you
second
know?
class if I knew that was the reading, because I wouldn't have to
Yeah.
do it a second time.
Yeah.
And
I was
could.
like, do none of you people talk to each other? Why is this on 2? I was
Yeah,
an English
they
major,
don't talk
so
to each
like,
other.
why? No,
Yeah.
they don't. I learned that, but like, why was this on 2 syllabi?
Yeah.
You know, and this. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But that's the worst book I've ever read. Heart of Darkness.
Did you have an aha book moment? Like when you became a reader, or this is your,
Oh, so when I was a little girl.
as opposed to the aged hag that is here today.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You are so great to our guests.
I can picture her now.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, she's a useful person. That was my
line
point.
out the door.
That was the opposite of an unkind thing to say.
okay. I mean, I think it was an unkind thing to say, but you
Have I
mentioned
showed you my phone case?
It's very fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hypnotize
Back to you.
So as a small child, my grandfather read a lot to me. I have
yeah.
a lot of really, really fond memories of my papa reading to me as
Yeah.
a little girl on his lap, you know, sort of sitting
Wait,
in the
neighbors,
recliner.
East Siders, also the whole family.
Yeah,
close?
so they lived in a farm. They had a farm in Curtis.
Yeah,
which
all
is
right.
where my
I
mom
know Curtis
grew
is,
up.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Not many people do, so congratulations. So that's
absolutely.
where
I
my
know
mom
it
grew
is
up.
too. I get
Good.
credit.
Good.
I know someone named Curtis.
With a K or a C?
See,
Just keep going.
Anyways, so I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up, and he would read a lot to me, and so would my mom and my uncles. Like, this was just like a thing.
Yeah.
And so I could read going into kindergarten.
Okay.
And so can my son now, incidentally. So
That's awesome.
Them,
Yeah.
Don't fall from trees. I
her,
don't
her son is
Levi?
She just answered the question, guys.
freaking
Just-
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I do
Has
have.
he read Heart of Darkness yet?
No, he sure has. I'll try to make sure he doesn't. ever
Regrettably,
read
he
that.
wrote it. And she
Do you
doesn't know.
guys remember when you grew up in Toledo? So
Yeah.
we used to do at the library, we would sign up for like the summer
Reading list.
reading
Yeah.
list,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
you would like, it was a contest to see how many
Oh yeah.
books you
Oh,
could
yeah.
try tried to read
I
for
got
the
a lot
summer.
of personal pan pizzas for the record from Book It as a child. So
Now that's an incentive.
That is a Midwestern prize right there.
Personal pan pizza for reading 10 books.
Yeah.
I mean,
Personal
come
pan
on.
pizzas should be brought back.
They should.
Yeah.
They really should. Because
think
who
that-
wants to share toppings?
I think
People,
they-
not
We
they-
used to call them PPPs.
I think the reason I don't think they went away. I just think that Midwesterners now they're just called pan pizza.
Now it's a large pizza.
Just like, here's your
If I personally eat it,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I don't think they've gone away, so to speak.
when I think about it, those 4 slices are just not going to cut
No,
it.
they're
Yeah.
just not. You're going to
Yeah.
need more than that.
That's right.
You need
yeah.
at least a 12-inch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we signed up in my family for the summer reading at the library. They still have it. Moving us on from the pizza.
Yeah.
Even though I took us there.
We're all that we're
It
thinking
was
about.
fun.
You
It
can
was
see
fun.
our eyes just glaze over. All these morons over on this side are thinking is pizza. So good.
Let's talk
Pizza.
about pizza. This is why I'm like so blessed to have people like Nicole in my life that are like,
100%.
yeah, that it's
Yeah.
just like people get to know me and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but meet my
Right.
friends, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe
It's odd
there's
because
something
I'm
there.
your friend, and I've never heard you say this until just now. That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know that I feel that way about you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your
Awkward.
stupid reading friend.
Do you have...
In my family, we sign up for the summer reading challenge the day it opens in the
Yeah,
library. So
sure.
this summer,
Yeah.
we walk our little selves down to Sanger.
Sanger was our
Sanger
library
was-
as well.
yeah.
Yours
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're an old
Well,
lady.
it was in the... it was over where the grocery store is now. Like, it's a
Foodtown.
totally new location. Yeah, we would walk up there. We
Yeah.
would walk up to the drugstore and get candy and then go to the library.
All
I
right.
love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I grew up walking to Birmingham Library and just spending like
Sure.
the whole summer
That's
there.
a cute library.
It is a super cute library, and
Yeah.
they had air conditioning, which was
Yes.
real key for me in the 90s.
For
Was that the
real.
library
Yeah.
had AC, and all the Sweet Valley High books you could want
Yeah, I
to
remember
read.
Sweet Valley
We would
High.
never, ever return our books on time. My mother would get so
know.
mad at us.
I
Yeah.
know.
Look
Thank
in
God
this
they got
house
rid of
and find
fines.
all of the find all the library books. We're taking them all back today. We're like, all right.
Can I put you on the spot to tell the Levi bowling story?
Let's do this.
Oh my God.
It's so
Okay,
good.
it's
So this is
funny.
like this is how advanced her son is.
I'm ready.
How old is he now?
He just turned 5 last week.
Okay.
So
I have a 4-year-old.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, no,
it's a
not
fun
mine.
age.
Not for my dad.
Can she read?
Yeah, you're no. Yeah.
He was maybe 3. I think he was about 3 at the time, and we took him bowling once, and he
Okay.
thought it was just the coolest thing you
Yeah.
could possibly do is
Sure.
go bowling.
It pretty much is.
I mean, it is. I mean, who doesn't?
I
You get
love
nachos.
bowling. Yeah.
You get to throw a
Totally.
ball.
Yeah.
Like, come on, we're all in. We're all in on this. And so he started. He started stealing our phone, and you know how on your phone,
Yeah.
you can scroll down
Yeah.
and you can type in something, right? So he would scroll down and he would type in bowling,
Yeah.
and call Bolero
Yeah.
and ask Bolero if they had any open lanes.
Oh my
At
God.
3 years old. So can you imagine
You're
this little
kidding me.
like Bolero employee like answering the phone,
That's
and we'd
this
hear
kid
Levi
again. Yeah.
going, "Do you have any open lanes?" And we'd be like, "Who is he talking to?" And then we'd go in and he'd have one of our phones like up, like
Yeah.
talking
Oh
to
my
someone.
God.
Yeah. And
So
he's
that's
like,
Levi.
as a fan, he's fanning his hands.
Exactly.
ready to bowl.
You know, and he's like 30 inches tall. You
Yeah.
know, just
Did you put those bumper things up for him? Yeah, that's so fun for a little bit.
We did
key.
after school bowling at what that was then Westland Lanes.
Oh yeah.
so
Did
I-
you take the bowling bus?
I
to
did
go
take the bowling bus. I
Oh
didn't
my
mean
gosh,
to
it was so
brag.
much
Bowling
fun.
bus?
There was a
We-
bowling bus. Yes.
Wednesdays, there was after school bowling. And 5th grade, we were the league champions. If you don't mind a sports nostalgia story.
Congratulations.
We were careening into the last week of the league. It was us. Okay, this is real.
On the bus you were careening?
Is there any way I can just tell a story? So we were the Buckeyes. We were in 2nd place, and we were playing the Wolverines, who coincidentally were in 1st place. And their entire team got head lice. So
Stop
they
it, though.
forfeited.
Stop it.
So
You're winning bowling.
we were the
is-
champions.
is because
and
the other
the
team
Wolverines
got
were like
head lice.
so pissed. I was like, well, first of all, we've had head lice for some time.
How do you think you guys got
Didn't
it?
stop us from coming here. Either you've got the heart of a champion or you don't. And that's the LT
That's-
motto, right?
that
That's
is right
great.
there. That is right there.
right?
It's right
We're not
on
gonna
the
let a little
website.
parasites stop these.
I don't think that's the actual mission statement
No,
of
sure
YLT.
isn't.
Well, I'm just saying if they're going to change it at any time.
Might wanna think
You're
about
on the
that.
committee.
I'm available.
We're calling you.
Yeah, to tell
You're-
the story.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a winning strategy.
It's really good.
Is what
Yeah.
That is
right.
what I hear. So you win championships.
Yeah, you're
with
talking
that
about hope.
strategy.
I'm
I mean, that was a good team.
Yeah, I'm curious. So lifelong Toledoan.
Yes.
I'm curious. What is your favorite, like, quote, Toledo thing?
Yeah, me too. That would surprise us.
That would surprise
Yeah,
you.
don't mention your dumb kid or reading or anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say at the library. Did you know that's where Kurt proposed to me? Was at the main library in the children's.
You and I could not be less alike. I mean, honestly.
What? Where at the library?
In the children's room. My favorite children's author is Mo Willems, and it was in front of the Mo Willems books in one of the window wells, like in the children's
That is
library.
so sweet.
Yeah, it was super cool.
My life is just
Just the
dumpster
worst.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin, you've
also-
been arrested in the children's library, haven't you?
Maybe.
So let's not tell that
That's
story.
right,
Let's
sorry.
not tell that
Let's
one.
move
We'll
forward.
save that
Your
one.
favorite T-town location?
So the main library, hands down, is my favorite.
Yeah, that's tough to beat.
Tough to beat. But my favorite place to be on like a weekend night would be a walleye game in like January. Like take me
Get
to
out
the
of town.
walleye. I love
the violence
walleye. Yeah.
of hockey.
I know, you're like, I can't believe this book
Yeah.
club also loves hockey.
It's a good
like,
question. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all that they've done.
It's amazing.
What that
Well
represents
said.
to our city.
Thanks for your contribution.
Shut up.
That's amazing.
I said it's amazing.
15 minutes later. That's really interesting. Thank you, caller.
How much of
Thank
your
God we brought her
love?
on.
How
Thanks
much
for
of your
joining
love
us.
of how much of your love of walleye hockey is also like probably stems from childhood, right? I mean, I know like East Side Sports
Oh
Arena.
yeah,
That's
Sports
a
Arena
good
was the
point.
jam. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And when all that went down, everybody thought like everyone was so disappointed,
Sure.
right? And even still, just until very recently, have people been upset about that. And now that there's finally some actual development happening
Yeah.
on the east side of the river,
Talk a little bit about that.
so
You were saying?
Planted that one perfectly.
yeah. So, but no,
Your
so walleye hockey-
storm.
yeah, and the sports arena and all that, of
For
course, so rich for Toledo's history, and so. But I love what the Mud Hens and Walleye have done to downtown Toledo. Like
Agreed.
the whole Renaissance stems from the Mud Hens first, and then you go to a Walleye game and you don't know who's what where. Everybody's wearing a Walleye jersey.
right.
Everybody's
Good
cheering
point.
for the same team. They're passing out the rally towels as you come
Yeah.
in, and it kind of like it levels the playing field
Equalizer.
a little bit.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sure that I haven't thought of it in that way. You're absolutely right.
And one of the things I love that they do very well at the Walleye and at the Mud Hens as well is like, I know I wasn't supposed to talk about my kids anymore.
No, that's
but
fine.
I was at a Walleye game last year, and we had my friends and I went, and there were 4 kids under the age of 5 with us. Right, so this is just
This
chaos.
sounds like
This
a night to remember.
Yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon game, right?
yeah.
Like, so at least we're not there when everybody's wasted, right? But
Sure.
like Sunday afternoon game, only 2 people are wasted.
Right. And both
Two of the kids were pretty drunk.
in the heart of darkness. Like, okay, take it easy. Go.
So one of the kids,
No, my favorite chapter is the dark one. That was a kid that was drunk. That was my impression.
oh my god, that was a really good drunk kid impression.
Thank you.
Love that.
Yep.
And I love that
them
he went.
experience.
I love that he went straight to Heart of Darkness.
I do too.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
call
Well,
that.
it's the
Good
theme
job.
of the show.
Yeah.
That's what we should call the show.
There you go.
Heart of
Heart
Darkness.
Yes.
I love it. I'm glad
Because
I
it describes
named your
also
show.
Nicole so
Gretchen,
well.
do one of your good segues.
This
That's interesting.
That's amazing.
I'm really intrigued to hear you say that.
Please continue.
No, I mean, like,
So
please.
anyway,
We don't have all
okay.
day.
So one of the kids falls, right? Like this is
Yeah.
the thing that happens.
Now I'm
the
in.
The kids fall,
Yeah.
and the kid's like sobbing,
Yeah.
bloody knee,
Sure.
like the whole 9 yards. And like these employees, these Walleye employees, just like come out from behind the stand. They bring an ice pack, they bring some towels.
Yeah.
They're like
Aw.
ready to like take care of this little kid, and that's something that shows the culture that they've built there for
Agreed.
their employees. And also that like in Toledo, we care about everyone,
Yeah.
right? And so
Right.
like if a kid falls on my watch, I'm not going to just turn the other
Yeah.
way. I'm going to bring an ice pack and make sure that kid's
Sure.
okay. And I just think that they do that very well.
I agree.
And
Metro Parks might want to look into that policy.
have it
Yeah, I'm gonna
ice
put some
packs
ice
for
packs in
skin
my
knees.
I just love that I'm like Gretchen is in between Matt and I right now. So Gretchen is within arm's length.
Yeah. Gretchen's in
Matt.
between us in the evolutionary chain.
I love how you started with you and ended with me. I appreciate that.
I don't find that offensive in the slightest.
Okay.
So do you swear at all?
Oh yeah.
That's my girl.
Oh yeah.
What's your go-to, like,
We'll
stub
bleep
your
it
toe?
Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you can't beat
It is unusual to hear that coming from you.
Yeah,
I
I love-
such a pleasant person.
I love that I said stub your toe.
Some of the sparkles
and
just
you
fell out of my phone.
That really takes the shine off a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It gets the attention of the 7th graders.
That's right.
Really.
It sure
They all
does.
came out with ice packs. Oh, it's motherfucker. I love it.
Why do you think they came running out?
Listen, I'm a Midwest girl, and I grew up on the East Side. We know how to
Yeah.
use our swear words
Yeah,
from
you
over
go.
there.
That's right.
Did you ever swear in the classroom?
Oh, one time really famously, I was like, shit, like, like something
Sure.
fell and it just came
Absolutely.
out. And with 7th graders, that's a pretty good, easy
That's
group
you're a
to like,
legend.
oh yeah, they were like, oh,
Yeah,
you could hear
absolutely.
the whole chorus
Sure.
of them. And I was like, well, okay. And because I'm me, I sent an email home to the parents and was like, just so you know, in case
Oh
you
my
hear
gosh.
this happen.
Did you spell out shit in the email?
Oh no, I didn't
You put
spell
the-
it out
yeah,
the
sure. You
stars.
put
in
something
the
on the
middle,
subject
but-
line.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Guess who fucked up in school today? Gretchen, did you ever think about teaching?
No.
Okay, because of the.
Nope. Actually, I was gonna be.
Nope, it's fine.
No. What were you? All right. So I listed out just completely off the wall random questions.
Yes, let's get to it.
But all right. So you gave me one of them already, which was worst book you've ever read.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about that. 3 items in your refrigerator at all times.
Sour cream, always. Hungarian. We gotta have our sour cream.
All right.
There's always sour cream. There is
What's your maiden name?
always. My maiden name is Ayers, but my mom's family's Hornyak,
Okay.
which is a Hungarian name. They're Hungarian. So always sour cream.
Got it.
Always a block of cheese,
Okay.
like sharp cheddar cheese.
Started noticing a theme here.
Basically, I'm propping
are
up the
vegan.
dairy community. Me alone, propping him up.
And then a knife to cut the cheese. I like it cold.
Leave it in the fridge.
I like it
Just
chilled
all
knife.
together.
It's like a cold knife through
Yeah,
butter.
that's right.
Yeah.
And always pepperonis.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Matt, how about
I
you?
also have 2 toddlers, so I feel like
Well,
that should
that's
be
true.
shared.
Cheese
also.
And so one of them is in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Boy, what do we always have in the refrigerator? Yogurt for our children. I always have some wildly sugary creamer for
Oh, yes.
my
Well, you
wife's
gotta have
coffee.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
which she
always in my
prefers
fridge,
to
too.
chew than drink.
Okay.
With their sugar level in it.
Oh.
And we always have some really expired thing in a red Tupperware.
Yeah. Mystery.
Yeah,
Mystery
from
food.
someone's home that is not our own, and it's dated. But
And it's attached itself to the container.
I mean, if we
You're
never throw
like-
it out, it's always in there, and then somehow it just goes away.
Years later, you try
Not
to.
somehow. There's someone pulling it out. It ain't you, but there's someone pulling it out.
I
put
don't
it in
think
the
it's
trash
anyone who
can.
lives in my house. I think someone comes and just gets it. Yeah, I don't know. It's like
me.
children's
Supernatural.
services or something. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
We've got Tupperware containers at our house that years
Have
later.
you ever bought them?
No.
I've never bought them.
No,
Oh,
they
I
just
have.
they show up. I think the
I
person that
have.
empties
Shut
out
up.
your fridge
They just show up.
brings them on.
It's like
But
a
Men
cutting
don't
board.
know
I don't know.
Tupperware
They
containers
don't.
get
You
into the
have to.
house.
Listen, there are wives that buy the Tupperware containers.
I
guys.
assure you, my wife did not buy this Tupperware. Do you have cutting boards? Have you ever bought a cutting board?
I've never bought a
What about a
cutting
hand
board.
towel?
Nope.
Same.
Dudes. There's
But
somebody in
but
your
yet
life
you
buying
have
them.
cutting boards
You
and
have
hand
them.
towels.
You've never wanted for a cutting board.
I do have a brief cutting board story. I got a cutting board.
Well, who doesn't?
Especially a brief one.
I got a cutting board.
They're always so long.
That's right. Heart of Darkness.
So I
Please
got one
title
as
this
a
episode
gift
that.
from one of my previous bosses.
Yeah, that.
And it
Monogrammed?
with everybody got
Says
the
kill
same
yourself.
cutting board with a note that said, "You're a cut above the rest."
That's so lame.
Now here's the thing.
How
so
can you
I'm
all
with
be
you,
a cut
right?
above the rest?
Sure. Everybody who doesn't work.
Can you
for-
not shoot a hole in this? This is obviously something he needs.
He needs this. He needs
She
it.
needs this cutting board.
But I will say, at the time, I was so annoyed because I'm like, this is the worst gift ever.
Yeah.
But I cannot tell a story about a gift from a boss of mine with that accuracy and clarity in any other gift I've ever got.
Sure.
In my
Is it
entire
still
life.
in use in your kitchen?
We still have it.
Yeah, right.
See?
There
Yeah.
are a collection of things that you're like, God, this goddamn thing. It's like a pill sorter. When you're like a little person, you're like, but I'm never going to forget this.
I never.
Now I'm like, is today Tuesday? And then what
I take my vitamin.
I don't even know the day of the week.
I only take one pill and I can't remember. I remember holding this thing and wearing this shirt.
All right, Gretchen, 3 items in your fridge.
Oh,
Hope.
cold coffee concentrate, wine, and usually
So just wine.
7 different types of bubbly or
Yeah.
like flavored cans of
So
flavored
just-
water.
so just
I never
wine.
have food in my fridge usually. Sometimes yogurt.
Okay.
Just pulled such a lie. I just wanted to bury wine in the middle. An
just
edible
one bottle of wine.
arrangement.
You mean
the wine cooler?
Wine and what did you say? Yogurt.
Yogurt.
Am I saying that
There's
right?
Food
Yogurt.
in the fridge.
Yeah. So wine.
I love how she
and
described.
Fermented grapes.
That's right. Books and wine and art.
I love that Gretchen described the ingredients to sangria separately, as though they were 3 separate
A
items.
small syringe and black tar heroin.
You got to keep that refrigerated.
Oh my goodness.
In my
Tell us
refrigerator,
yours.
I mean fanny pack.
Yeah. So cheese is a like absolute must-have, and all the different varieties, right? So like, and when I say different varieties, I mean shredded and block. That's it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
none of the powdered.
no, we do have that, but I'm the only one in the family that likes Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
So when you said powdered cheese, you thought you were kidding, but there's actually a powdered cheese.
Yeah, no, I didn't
You're
think I
welcome.
was kidding.
Okay.
Shaker cheese is what we
Gotcha.
call it in
Shaker
Ireland.
cheese.
Shaker cheese.
Oh, I like
I like that too.
Okay.
The more sophisticated.
Can I go to the freezer?
Yes.
So waffles.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
always frozen waffles.
We have the little pancakes.
Ooh, those are good.
Yeah. 30
Yeah.
seconds, out the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your kid falls right asleep. So carbs are a nap o'clock.
So we'll have like leftovers, right?
Yeah.
There's always leftovers in the fridge, something. And so whenever we make pancakes,
Yeah.
there's always like, we make them for the next 16 weeks.
You
None-
make pancakes, like batter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Of course.
I mean-
we do too.
I think they only eat the frozen ones in their house. They must.
That's just sad.
Oh my gosh. You've
I'm
never
sorry, the
made pancakes?
Wine ladies here. No, I don't make pancakes. I just zap them for.
No, I
my-
don't make pancakes.
Nikki's husband, and Nikki's involved in this too, they serve pancakes to every single person in the UT homecoming parade. They
Look at
make
their
pancakes.
faces right now.
When I said that I had nothing in common with this person.
In the parade?
Yeah.
In the
What
parade.
difference does that make?
During the parade?
During the parade.
What parade
I got
reference would have made
photos.
you feel more comfortable?
Every house on the parade route sits
Yeah.
there with
'Cause I
a
didn't
bag
get
of candy.
Yeah, I live on the parade route.
Me too.
Yeah.
Bag of candy
Yeah.
to take from them. Their house is
Just
like,
ladling pancake
hey,
batter into it.
we got
Here you go, make them
Now I
yourself.
know why everyone was so sticky.
That's right. It's a whole
Gretchen's just
operation.
pouring wine into kids.
There were some kids this year. I walked up with my big thing of pancakes. I'm passing them out, and they were clearly
Now, what is
having
what is a
good time.
pancake distributing bag?
Oh, I have like those metal foil. I don't know. Not
Yeah,
foil,
like a tin,
aluminum
yeah.
tin trays. We make that. We fill those with pancakes, and
Yeah.
then I
Any idea how
walk
many?
into the middle. Well, this year we made a whole Costco big bag of batter. Like
Yeah.
it's powder, and you make it batter and whatever. And it was a lot of pancakes, and that got us through about maybe 3/4 of the parade. So next year we're gonna make even more. So
Do
we
people
can-
just pick these up out of the bag with with?
I pick them out of the thing and I hand them to the drunk children walking by us, and I
Got
say,
it.
"Drink some water."
Yeah.
That's
Aw.
that's my message
Yeah,
to
Mama
them.
They are
Bear.
drunk. Yeah.
They are drunk.
Okay.
It's 10 a.m. and they are wasted.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, here's some carbs, and promise me you'll drink some water.
Oh, good lord.
it's like the thought behind it.
Yeah,
right?
I'm
It's
actually
like,
canceling my guest in my head right now.
Your guest is passing out the alcohol tonight, so
Yeah,
it's just a whole different vibe.
all right, here we go. First job.
do it.
Nicole.
McDonald's in Perrysburg
All right.
in high school. That was my first
In
job.
what capacity? Driving
Oh,
window?
well, I was
pancake
in
maker? Seems
Pancake
like
maker. That's where my love for making pancakes began.
right.
No, I worked the counter mostly. One time they had me work the lunch rush, and I cried, and I said
Sure.
I didn't want to do that anymore. And so then I worked close after that.
How did you end up in Perrysburg?
My friend also worked there.
Okay.
And so my friend was like, I was like, I need a job. And she was like, I got a job. And so we would
See,
go
another
together.
friend of hers telling her.
I know.
Telling her what's
See,
what.
I have no luck
right.
on my own. I need all my friends to tell me to give me their jobs.
Gretchen is only where she is based on really hard strategic decisions.
Yeah, that I've thought of all by myself.
That's right. Nothing but the grit. That's right.
I mean, the
Just
hours.
the daughter of the general counsel for Dana, figuring out all by herself.
That's right.
The
No
hours.
access to anything.
That's right.
The hours of therapy that Nicole's going to now have to go
know.
through after just
I'm sending you guys my bill.
Simple
I think
conversations
it's
with Gretchen
positive.
saying, have you noticed that you have not made a single significant decision in your entire life?
Right.
Have you
know,
noticed
like as
that?
Gretchen started listening to this, she was like, I've got to put this person down.
Yeah.
I mostly thought I need to get better friends.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's all right. So you didn't. You intended it as a compliment.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I think the wine will help.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a doctor.
All right, we're going to Gretchen.
I'm not a
Yeah,
doctor.
Gretchen.
Gretchen, first job.
My first job in 8th grade was the parish secretary at Jesu on the weekends.
Cool.
So I would sit at the front desk and like answer the phone when people came in, and then I would have
Fighting
to
the boys off at that gig.
on Saturday. So on Saturday, I'd have to go in and make dinner for the priests in
Yeah.
the rectory. It was
That's a job.
Like what kind of
Weird.
food? Yeah.
so the cook they had a cook during the week, and then she would make their
have to
Saturday
go
and
heat
Sunday
it up.
dinner. I would go heat it up.
You
I had
would
to set
warm
the
it.
table.
Because they were so incompetent. They
Yeah.
couldn't warm their own
I
dinner.
had to set the table.
I mean, that's a
make
whole
them
nother
water.
podcast.
Yeah. We don't have enough time for that part of the show.
So it was like four or so hours on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon.
So you'd walk over to Jesu and set these old dudes'
Well, I
table.
wouldn't walk, but
Well,
I would sit in the desk and I would like file stuff or answer the phone, or people would like come in to
a lot
like
of
pick
filing.
stuff up.
How old were you at the time?
8th grade.
28.
Okay. 20.
This was last month.
That's right. I'm going there after the show.
And then I had to do the dishes and clean up the kitchen.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
How'd you apply? Okay. Yeah.
Did you go
My
to
first
Jesu?
job.
Yes.
No, that's the other thing too.
No, she,
Second, I should have
no, she had a friend.
To be clear.
I just like to feed old men. I just believe in the patriarchy, and I want to make sure they've got enough food. I was a bag boy at Shorelings, just up the street from my house.
Okay.
Yep. So,
I wonder if I ever saw you in there.
could be. I mean, the ages don't make sense.
I mean, she was probably buying groceries.
For the for her priest boyfriends. Yeah. We my dad bagged groceries 32 years before me at the same place. So that is a little bit of killing history there. You're nodding. No one is smiling though. It's great. Not a great anecdote. We'll
No,
just
it's
cut
awesome.
that right out.
No, I
No,
love
I
that.
love
And
that.
then I graduated to the produce boy.
All I could think is that somebody helped you get that job, didn't they? The
Yes,
bag
they
boy
did.
job. Yeah.
That's right. I did not do that on my own.
Exactly. See,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm
Eat
saying.
it, Gretchen. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, all part of the divine plan.
Well, and I feel like you've sort of brought us back like full circle, right? Is that the importance of having people in our lives, and there's kids in our community that maybe don't have
That's
that they're not going to go get the same job that their dad had, or the first
Exactly.
job that their dad had, or
Or the access
mom
to.
had, or
That's a good point.
correct. And so it's important for us to like intentionally surround kids with those mentors, with access to opportunities.
And with adults who like actually care about them.
Right.
I think a lot of kids
They can pick up phonies immediately.
they can. They know
Yeah.
when someone's not real. They know when someone's just putting on a show.
Right.
Or pretend like kids know who shows up.
Totally.
They absolutely know who shows up and who day after day will ask after them and see how they're
Right.
doing and help them along. And I think it's important that all of our kids have access to those sorts of adults who really want to help move them forward.
Who is the adult for you? Like that?
Sister Mary Madalena. She was a sister of Notre Dame
All right.
at my grade school,
Aw.
first and foremost. And then I had a great grandmother, my Granny Ruth, who really helped. Yeah, I mean, I was with her like every weekend,
Same with I
and
have a
she
grandma Ruth,
was.
same. Oddly enough.
She would take me to McDonald's, and we'd get Happy Meals together. And she just always put it in my head since the time I was really little that you're going to college and you're going to do things with yourself, and we're going to get you there. And yeah, so she's like those two women, though.
Yeah, cool.
By and far.
Well, listen in on that. Can't beat it.
Yeah, it's incredible. Well, thank you.
Yeah, so nice to
Yeah,
touch base
thank
again.
you for
Yeah.
coming.
Gretchen, do you want to drop one of your really good?
No, just keep going.
So good. That's why she's the best in the biz, folks. Just keep it going.
Keep keep doing good.
Love it.
Thanks to Nicole Susdorf for being our guest. For Gretchen DeBacher, Matt Killam, I'm Kevin Mullan. We'll see you back here next month. This is the 419.